If you've been struggling to grow strawberries in your garden, dealing with slugs, eating your berries before you can, birds swooping in at sunrise, or bending down on aching knees just to check if anything is ripe, I want you to stop what you're doing and watch this entire video. Because what I'm about to show you completely changes how you grow strawberries. No raised beds, no garden rows, no getting down on the ground, and no more losing half your harvest to pests before you even see them. Most gardeners are taught that strawberries need a dedicated patch of soil, a flat bed with plants spread across the ground, and for years, that's exactly what most of us did. But here's the truth nobody talks about. Ground-level growing is actually one of the worst ways to grow strawberries if you want a clean, productive, low-effort harvest. Today I'm going to show you how to grow the sweetest, most productive strawberries you've ever tasted using nothing more than hanging trash bags or simple buckets. And the results? You'll be picking fresh berries every single day with absolutely zero mess. Stick around to the end, because I'm going to share one small detail about how you feed these plants that makes a dramatic difference in sweetness. Most people skip it entirely. Don't be one of them. Before we dive in, I want to ask you something. Quickly drop it in the comments below. Where are you gardening from? And have you ever tried growing strawberries before? Maybe you've had great success. Maybe the slugs got there first. Or maybe this is your very first attempt. Tell me below. I read every single comment, and it helps me make better videos for you. Part 1. Why ground-level strawberries fail most gardeners. Let's start with the real reason so many strawberry patches disappoint people, and it's not about the variety you chose or whether your soil was rich enough. The problem is position. When your strawberry plants sit on the ground, you've essentially set up a buffet for every pest in your garden. Slugs are the biggest offender. They come out at night, they move through damp soil, and by morning, your best-looking berries have mysterious holes in them. You never even saw it happen. Then there are the birds. Robins, blackbirds, thrushes. They have sharp eyes and they know exactly when a strawberry turns red. You'll walk out in the morning thinking today is the day you finally get a full bowl, and half the patch has already been raided. And then there's the moisture problem. Strawberries sitting on damp soil are constantly at risk of gray mold, a fuzzy fungal disease called botrytis that turns ripe fruit to mush practically overnight, especially in wet or humid weather. You lose fruit before it ever makes it to your kitchen. But here's what makes this even more frustrating for a lot of us. The bending down. Checking every single plant, pushing leaves aside, trying to see if the berries underneath are ready. It's hard on your back, hard on your knees, and honestly, it takes the joy out of gardening. The solution isn't a fancier bed or more expensive netting. The solution is to lift the whole operation off the ground entirely. Part 2. The hanging bag and bucket method, what it is and why it works. Now, when I say hanging trash bags or buckets, I want you to picture something very simple. Nothing complicated, nothing expensive. A heavy-duty black trash bag, the thick kind filled with compost and hung from a fence, a washing line post, a pergola beam, or even a freestanding frame you build yourself. You cut small holes in the sides and plant your strawberries directly into those holes. The plants cascade downward, the berries hang in the open air, and you pick them standing upright without bending once. Or, if you prefer something sturdier, you use plastic buckets, the 5-gallon kind you can find at any hardware store or garden center. You hang them with strong hooks or stack them on a tiered shelving unit at comfortable picking height. Here's why this method works so well for strawberries specifically. Strawberry plants are natural trailers. Their runners want to hang, their fruit wants to dangle. When you give them vertical space rather than flat ground, they actually perform better, more air circulation, more sunlight reaching the fruit, and ripening that happens faster and more evenly. The berries stay cleaner, they never touch the soil. There are no slugs climbing up to reach them. Birds can still be a problem, but it's dramatically easier to cover a hanging bag with a short piece of net than to cover an entire ground-level patch. And the picking? You stand at your full height, scan the bag or bucket at eye level, and pick every ripe berry in under 2 minutes, daily, without any fuss. That's the kind of gardening that keeps being enjoyable well into your 60s, 70s, and beyond. Part 3. How to set it up step by step. Let me walk you through the exact setup so you can do this yourself this season. Choosing your container. For trash bags, use heavy-duty black bags at least 90 liters. The black color absorbs heat, which strawberries love in spring when the soil needs to warm up quickly. Tie the bottom securely and fill them about 2/3 full before hanging. For buckets, 5-gallon plastic buckets work perfectly. Drill drainage holes in the bottom at least 6 to 8 holes before you add any compost. Without proper drainage, the roots will rot and you'll lose your plants quickly. Your growing mix. This is important. Don't just use garden soil. It compacts inside a container, it doesn't drain well, and it won't give your plants what they need. Use a mix of good quality multi-purpose compost, about 70% and 30% perlite or coarse horticultural grit. The perlite keeps the mix open and airy, so roots breathe. It holds just enough moisture without becoming waterlogged. If you can find it, add a small amount of slow-release granular fertilizer into the mix at planting time. Just a handful mixed through the compost. This gives your plants a steady foundation of nutrients as they establish. Planting your strawberries. For bags, use a sharp knife or scissors to cut X-shaped slits into the side of the bag, each slit about 3 to 4 inches across. Space your slits at least 8 inches apart in a staggered pattern around the bag, not in a straight vertical line. This gives each plant room and access to light. You can usually fit 8 to 10 plants into one large hanging bag. For buckets, plant 3 to 4 plants per bucket, spacing them evenly. If you're using a tiered rack, stagger the buckets so the plants on the upper level don't shade the ones below. Push each strawberry plant gently into its hole or into the compost surface, making sure the crown, that central growing point where the leaves emerge, sits right at soil level, not buried, not too high. Right at the surface. This is one of the most common mistakes people make, and it directly affects how well your plants produce. Hanging your containers. Bags can be hung using strong garden wire threaded through the tied top, or from a purpose-made hanging hook rated for at least 10 kilograms. Always check your support point is solid before adding the weight of a full bag. Buckets can hang from S-hooks over fence rails, pergola beams, or a simple wooden frame you build from treated timber posts. Whatever you use, make sure the structure is stable. A swinging, knocking bucket stresses the roots and breaks young growth. Position your containers where they'll receive at least 6 hours of direct sun per day. South or southwest facing walls and fences are ideal. Morning sun is especially good. It dries the foliage quickly, which reduces disease pressure. Part 4. Watering, the mistake that ruins most container strawberries. Here's where a lot of people go wrong, and it costs them their harvest. Container-grown strawberries dry out much faster than strawberries in the ground. The compost volume is smaller, the roots have less reservoir to draw from, and on warm, sunny days, a bag or bucket can go from moist to bone dry within 24 hours. Inconsistent watering is one of the top reasons container strawberries fail to produce well. When the soil dries out during flowering, pollination suffers. When it dries out while berries are forming, you get small, misshapen, or hollow fruit. When it dries out and then you suddenly flood the container, berries can split. The rule is simple. Check every single day during spring and summer. Push your finger about an inch into the compost. If it feels dry at that depth, water thoroughly until it drains from the bottom. In very hot weather, you may need to water twice a day, once in the morning and once in the early evening. Don't water in the heat of midday if you can avoid it. If daily watering feels like a challenge, consider a simple drip irrigation kit. You can find inexpensive systems that connect to an outdoor tap and drip water slowly into each container on a timer. It takes about an hour to set up and completely transforms how easy container growing becomes. Part 5. Feeding for sweetness, the detail most people skip. I promised you earlier I'd share the one feeding step that makes a real difference in how sweet your strawberries taste. Here it is. Most gardeners, when they remember to feed it all, grab a general-purpose liquid feed and apply it all season. This produces decent growth, but it doesn't optimize flavor. Here's why. High nitrogen feeds push lots of leafy green growth. That looks healthy, but it actually dilutes the sugars in the fruit. You get big berries that taste watery. Not what any of us want. What strawberries need for exceptional sweetness is a switch in feeding. From the moment your plants start to show flower buds, Switch to a high-potassium liquid feed. Tomato feed is ideal, widely available, inexpensive, and perfectly balanced for fruiting crops. The potassium drives sugar production in the fruit, deepens the flavor, and intensifies the red color. Feed every 7 to 10 days throughout flowering and fruiting. Don't skip weeks. Consistency matters here. Before flowers appear, a balanced feed is fine to help the plants establish. But once you see those first white flower clusters forming, make the switch to tomato feed immediately. That one change applied consistently produces noticeably sweeter strawberries than anything else I've tried. Part 6. Managing runners and keeping your plants productive. As your strawberries grow through the season, they'll start sending out long, thin stems with tiny plantlets on the ends. These are called runners. In a ground-based patch, runners are useful. You can root them to create new plants for next year. But in a hanging bag or bucket, runners are a drain on your energy. Every runner the plant produces is resources diverted away from fruit production. During your main fruiting season, late spring through midsummer, pinch off all runners as soon as you see them. Snip them cleanly at the base with scissors or small pruners. This keeps all the plant's energy focused on flowering and fruiting, and you'll see a noticeable improvement in yield. Toward the end of the season in late summer, if you want to propagate new plants for next year, let a small number of runners develop on your healthiest, most productive plants. Pin the end plantlet into a small pot of compost placed nearby. Wait for it to root over a few weeks, then cut it free from the parent plant. You'll have fresh, vigorous new plants for next season completely free of charge. Part 7. Pest management without chemicals. The hanging method already solves your two biggest pest problems, slugs and soil-borne disease. But there are still a few things to watch for. Aphids sometimes cluster on new growth and the undersides of leaves. A strong spray of water from a hose usually dislodges them. If they persist, neem oil diluted in water and applied in the early morning works well without harming beneficial insects like bees, which you absolutely need for pollination. Vine weevils can be a problem in containers specifically. You'll notice irregular notches being eaten around the edges of leaves. That's the adult weevil. The real damage, though, is done by their larvae underground, eating the roots. If a plant suddenly collapses and wilts for no obvious reason, tip the container out and look for small, creamy white grubs in the compost. The cleanest, most garden-friendly solution is a biological control, a product containing microscopic nematodes that you water into the compost. It's completely safe, effective, and chemical-free. Apply it in late summer when soil temperatures are still warm enough for the nematodes to be active. Part 8. End-of-season care and overwintering. When the main harvest is finished, usually by late July or early August, depending on your variety, your plants need a tidy-up to stay healthy for next year. Cut away all the old leaves, leaving just the central crown growth. Remove any dead or brown material. This reduces the chance of fungal disease overwintering on the plant. Move your bags or buckets to a sheltered spot against a wall or into an unheated greenhouse or cold frame if possible. The root systems in containers are much more vulnerable to hard frost than roots in open ground. A severe freeze can kill the crowns, especially in smaller containers. Give them a light feed of balanced fertilizer in early autumn to help them build strength before winter dormancy. Then leave them to rest. Come spring, you'll see fresh new growth emerging, and the whole cycle starts again, often with even better results in the second and third year as the root systems mature. So, let's pull this all together. Ground-level strawberry growing invites slugs, disease, and backache. The hanging bag and bucket method solves all three problems at once. You use a well-draining compost mix, plant at the right depth, water consistently every day, switch to high-potassium tomato feed the moment flowers appear, remove runners through the fruiting season, and protect your containers over winter. Do those things, and you will be picking clean, sweet, beautiful strawberries every single morning, standing upright. No mess, no fuss, no lost fruit. This is the kind of growing system designed to fit real life to be genuinely manageable and genuinely rewarding. If this video gave you something useful today, if it sparked an idea or solved a problem you've been dealing with in your garden, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button. It only takes a second, and it genuinely helps this content reach more gardeners who need it. And if you're not already part of our community here at Golden Years Garden, I'd love for you to subscribe. We put out practical, honest gardening content every week built specifically for gardeners who want results without making things complicated. Now I want to hear from you. Are you going to try the hanging bag method or the bucket approach? And what strawberry variety are you growing this year? Drop it in the comments below. I'm down there reading and replying, and honestly, some of the best ideas for future videos come straight from your comments. Until next time, keep growing, keep enjoying it, and I'll see you in the next one.